Hi guys, it's Jen. So I just thought I'd give a little preface before this video. The video you're about to see is still one of my pre-filmed videos before I even came to uni at the very beginning of my summer holidays for year 13. Well, between year 13 and university starting. That's why the background is completely different. You can see that some things have changed about me as well. My ears have been pierced. My hair's changed, I've got pink streaks in it, and I do plan on dyeing it more, so stay updated for the looks. But the reason that I haven't been updating so often is because university is just so much harder than I thought it would be. It's just been a complete learning curve. I knew it was going to be difficult. When I came, I knew things were going to be a lot of work in a short space of time, getting used to new experiences, new things. But I feel like I need to sit down and actually make a video about everything, because I last uploaded in October. It's now February of the following year, and I feel that even though my biggest video has got 6 views, I need to I feel a duty to explain to you guys why I haven't been uploading, why things have been lessened. And it's just something I feel that I have to do. So as I said, this video is one of my pre-recorded ones. Eventually, once I get through the remaining about 4 pre-recorded videos, there will be the new ones that are filmed in my fabulous new apartment, which you might have seen on a tour a couple of videos back, but I have redecorated, as you can see. So I'll probably do like another tour and stuff like that, maybe like a day in the life sort of thing. But yeah, just thought I should explain before the video starts. But enjoy, and I hope these tips work well. Some of them worked for me, some of them didn't, as I've said, and I explain further. They're a bit spicy, but enjoy. Hi guys, and welcome back to Revise with Jen. This is yet another video, the little series that I'm going to be doing just to ease you in before I do all the major revision content. So this one will be, as you can see from the title, how to revise for your exams. And I know this may seem very similar to the revision tips that I've given you previously, and you think, oh, well, why do you need another one just dedicated to exams? Well, I find they're quite different methods in terms of general revision, and then like the exam season hits and it's like all focused revision on one particular subject. So I've just got a few little ideas today that I'd like to go through. I do have a script to my right, so I will be looking at that throughout the video, just so it doesn't make it a little bit strange that I'm not looking at the camera all the time. But I will try to not just stare at it, because I do have some resources to show you as well today. I'm not sure how well they're going to appear on screen, but I shall try my best. If you wanted me to put them on my blog, I can. In fact, I'll probably do that anyway, so in case you couldn't quite see them on the video, you can just see the formatting styles that I've done and you can peruse that at your own leisure. Okay, so going right in with number 1, we have a study timetable, and I have previously mentioned that and I've shown you mine already, but I still think it's vitally important, especially as exam season comes up. Divide your timetable up by subject and then dedicate each particular revision period to a different topic. I can't really say much more on that because I've already shown you mine and explained that in more detail in the last video. Number 2. Your exam timetable. So once you have a list of where your exams are, you will probably get given an official exam timetable. If not, dates can be found on exam board specific websites quite early on, so you can list those out in a format that will work for you. Personally, I like to keep mine laid out on the official exam timetable that I'm given, highlight it as I go along because they're all in order, and I don't have to worry about it. I know some people like to create giant A3 sheets with all their exam times written on it and the paper topic, but do what's best for you. I just find it really helpful if you have a visual, so then you can see at any one point what exam you're meant to be revising for next, so you don't revise, say, paper 3 for a subject when paper 1 is obviously the first. I mean, that's quite an obvious example, but you might get bogged down revising certain things and then forget that there is a paper coming up next that you actually do need to revise. So the next one I have is divide each topic, so subject even, into particular papers, so paper 1, 2, 3, section 1, section 2, section 3, and then in those papers break it down again into the little sections. You can do this either by looking on the exam website for exam checklists, also known as PLCs. You may be given them in lessons. You may have to create them yourself, but subject syllabi is really good for that, and I'll be showing you an example of that in a moment. It'll be a little like add-in thing, but I have a few to show you now. So for psychology, I have broken it down into paper 1, as you can see here, and then this will be social influence, and then these are all the little subtopics in social influence. Then psychopathology, the same, attachment, the same, and memory, the same. Okay, personally, I don't revise this way. I've just created one to demonstrate to you today how you could possibly do it, but I prefer to use the method which I'm about to show you next, which is PLCs, also known as personal learning checklists. So you can see it's got all the topics down the side, and then it's got all the bits you need to know, and then it also has a smiley, happy, and smiley, medium, and sad face, so you can categorize them. This is optional. I didn't do it because I don't think it works for me, but you can tick whether you feel confident in the subject or you really need to revise it more, and from that you can see what you need to concentrate on your revision on, as opposed to focusing on all the bits you know best, because actually that's another point. Do not focus more on the points that you already know. But just because you think it's easy revision and you're doing revision and you can just plow through it, that isn't quality revision. Do the stuff that you do find the hardest, because that is the bits that you're going to struggle on if it comes up in the exam. It's going to take way longer to revise, and it's going to be a lot harder, but it'll be worth it, because easy stuff you revised you'll be able to remember really easily. However, it'll be the harder stuff that you're going to struggle with. So despite the fact that it may seem like a breeze if you're just doing one subject all at once, then just go back to the stuff you find the hardest, especially those that come up frequently and people often make mistakes on, because that will most likely come up again. I can't be sure, I'm not an examiner, but from my personal experience, the stuff that you find the hardest tends to be the stuff that everybody else finds the hardest, and then they tend to put that in the papers. So it's a good little just tip, I guess. I don't know, I probably already mentioned it, but just another little thing there for you. Also, work from the back. This is why. So instead of working from the top down, work from the back page up, because most likely the stuff that's at the back will be the stuff you've covered last. Although it might be the most recent in your memory, it may not be the one you understand the most, because just a hunch, you've probably gone over and revised the stuff from the beginning loads and loads and loads and loads, and that'll be the stuff that's stuck in your head. So if you go from top to bottom, you're just revising the same things over and over, because you'll run out of time and won't get to the bottom. But if you revise from the bottom up, it makes sure you cover the bits that you might have revised less of, you might have done most recently so you haven't had time to do, you may not understand. So it's just covering that entire spectrum of stuff, so you know everything equally. Obviously people have strong and weak points, but it's just a little thing to cover it along. Okay, so anyway, back to the little sheets. So this particular one is for English. As you can see, I've done the same thing as the psychology one. Oh, you can't really see it because it's in yellow. Like I said, that's my colour thing. So paper 1, and then you've got Othello, which is my text for section A, or just Shakespeare, or whatever text you're doing. And then themes, characters, quotes, context, etc, etc. And then, and then you have comparing poetry. I did use Tipex. I didn't realise how badly it would show up. And then subdivided into the stuff you should know for that. And then section, I've done section A, section C, section B, because I find B, the unseen poetry, for me, belongs at the bottom, because there's not really much you can do for that. So I just put just general thematic things, tropes for particular ideas, and era research, because it's better if you know your eras and what could commonly come up in them than not know them at all, because it'll probably be or postmodernism or modernism or gothic, etc, etc. I know gothic's not an era, it's a genre, but you can catch my drift. The next thing is yet another thing the exam board provides, so I'm just contrasting between homemade and exam provided resources. So this again is a syllabus. As you can see, it's been broken down into 1, 2, and then non-exam assessment. I don't know, it's gone inverted, but I'm just hoping that you'll be able to see it okay. I'm trying to talk you through it as well. So it splits it down into how it's assessed, what it's about, and then in each section, so A, B, C, A and B, and then, you know, the non-exam assessment information. So yeah, this is particularly provided by the exam board. It does have inside as well different independent stuff for the independent study, but these themes here are key themes that they're looking for, so they possibly may come up in the unseen prose or even unseen poetry sections. So because these are the particular themes that they would be looking for your non-exam assessment, it could come up again. Okay, so it's just all these exam resources, provided resources, even if they're not specifically what you're looking for, and it's not solely on what you're looking for, it does contain a lot of other useful information. You are quite lucky though, because that one is quite short. However, as you'll see in a minute, the chemistry one is so long. It's about 120 pages. So that was a little bit more hard to understand. So this next one is for chemistry, and as you can see, I've just broken it down in the same way as I did the other two. So paper 1, module 1, and then I've sub-broken that one down. Module 2, sub-broken that one down. Module 3, sub-broken that down. Module 5, sub-broken that down, and then I would do the same for paper 2. And yeah, so it's broken down a little bit more in depth. Of course, for any of these ones, you can break each little bit here down again into a different one if you so wanted, but I find that the syllabi tend to do that for you, so you don't really have to worry about it. Oh, as I mentioned earlier, you can either smiley, medium or sad facial wax. You can also colour code it. Like I said, colour is really good. So red, amber, green, or red, orange, green, whatever, if you don't have an amber pencil. Just so it's a more visual idea when you're quickly looking at it, what you need to focus on. So if you've got an extra 10 minutes, you can just look at the sheet and think, oh, that one's still red, I can do that one. And I would regularly update these as well. So maybe 1 month do it and then the next month do it again, so you can see your progress throughout the subject. So you can just do a column of tiny little squares in green and then next to it do the colours and go so forth. I'm just gonna grab a drink. Oh yeah, my Hufflepuff mug. Yeah, so you can just colour code it and that shows your progress throughout time as well as the smiley, medium and sad faces. They can also show your progression. If you do a spreadsheet, if you're really like pedantic about it, you could do that, but I just tend to find that colour coding, that was fine, that was enough for me. I could see my progress. Yeah, and that really worked. Start in advance, and you've probably heard this so many times. Start revising early, don't cram the night before. Personally, I did a little bit of both. So I started revising quite early and I went through it quite a lot, but then say the night before, the hour before my exam even, I used to sit there and I used to just read everything, which was probably not the best way to revise, but I just used to sit there in the library, up in like wherever, and just read everything again. And I mean speed read everything. And do you know what? It worked because there was some bits where I went into exam and thought I didn't know it, looked at it and then realised, oh, I literally studied that the 5 minutes before I'd gone into the exam. So I'm not saying it's the most productive and best way to revise, but I definitely think that a little bit cramming can't harm all of the time, but start and prepare early is for the best. But as I've said so many times before, everybody is individual, and if cramming the night before works for you, go for it. Like, I'm not here to tell you how to live your life. If that's getting you the grades you want, go for it. But if you're one of the people who needs to be a little bit more prepared about your revision because you take quite a lot of time, start earlier. There's no shame in that. The earlier you start, nobody actually matters because everybody's so focused on their own revision. So it doesn't matter when you start, providing it's the best time for you. I just personally, and all the information I've read says to start early. But yeah, people aren't always right. No one individual has the right way of revising. Everything's just tripping, falling and learning along the way. Next point is going to be, I'm not going to say controversial, but a little bit unorthodox maybe. Don't use your revision guides, especially not really close to your exam, like the month before. By that point, if you've started revising early, that is, obviously if you haven't, maybe it'll be a bit different on your levels of organisation and what have you, but by exam season you should have quite a lot of resources prepared already. Quite concise ones, as I've mentioned before, like flashcards and everything. So you shouldn't really need to be trawling through your entire revision guide again. I know for some of my resources I left them quite late, so I did have to use my revision guide, and the reason I say this is because when I looked at my revision guide, I got bogged down in reading all of the information again, where most of it I already had written down more concisely. But I just got distracted, reread the entire revision guide near enough, and because I was just reading it, nothing went in. So try to use the resources you have created for yourself because they'll be more tailored to you. Obviously you've created them. They're probably going to be more concise and broadened from a load of different resources, because I know in some subjects that if you look at multiple resources you're going to get different point of views, especially history subjects. You can get conflicting opinions where one book doesn't provide all of them. So yeah, revision guides near the exam aren't great. Obviously if you do need to use them, go ahead, but personally I didn't find that they were productive ways of revising for myself. Like I said, I would just get bogged down reading it. I wouldn't look at all the key information and lose out, because in revision guides there is quite a lot of waffle. I'm waffling now, I always waffle, but there is quite a lot of bits that you don't need to know. Just focus on the key bits and you've probably already got them. So that method there is quite a little bit unorthodox, I should say. I probably already said that, but it worked for me and it could help you. I'm not sure. If you're one of those people who gets distracted and think reading is the easy way to revise, be warned, it's not. Less goes in because you're not actually doing anything with it. Although I found reading helps me, if I read too much in one go, nothing goes into my head, I just lose out. So I definitely would consider that as an option. Maybe do it for mock exams as opposed to a real thing, because then you've got like a little trial period of how it works. So if then you realise you absolutely hate it, it's only a mock grade that's been messed up. If it's that low and somebody pulls you aside and say, hey, why is it so low, just say I was trying a different method of revising. And they tend to really understand that, because at least you are revising, you're just finding out what best works for you. So that's my little hints and tips video on how to revise for your exams. Obviously it goes eat, drink healthily, well, as healthy as possible, sleep as best you can, that sort of general little revision things. Anyway, just I'd add them in on the end. So thank you for watching this video. I hope some of it is helpful to you, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye.